Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to the very first episode of my new podcast entitled Box Office Talk. Now, I have the Take One podcast. How is Box Office Talk different? Well, I took the box office segment from the Take One podcast and made it his own little podcast. I'm still going to follow the same formula, but tweak it a little bit. So if you listen to my Take One podcast and when I do the box office segment, you kind of have an idea of how it's going to go. If you don't, basically what I do is that I give a prediction of the movies that are coming out that weekend and if they're going to be in the top 5 or if not. And I give like my top 5 predictions of what it is going to come over that weekend. And then I talk about what movies actually did come out that weekend in the top 5. And then I cover like what movies are coming that week and then give my predictions for that coming weekend. I'm going to follow that same formula, but also I'm going to get into some movie news. And along with that, the movie news is going to basically just be related to anything within the box office of that week. So it's not going to be anything off. So everything is going to be related. And if I do movie reviews, it's going to be related to the movies that are in the top box office. So that's basically how it's going to go. Since I didn't have any predictions from last week to this week, I'm basically just going to start off with what movies won the weekend. And so this weekend was a weekend filled with movies that didn't make too much. And starting off that with number 1 was Terminator Dark Fate, which took the top number 1 spot with 29 million. And we're going to talk about Terminator Dark Fate in a minute. But Joker took the number 2 spot with 13.5 million. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil took the number 3 spot with 13 million. Harriet came in at number 4 with 11.6 million. And the Addams Family took the number 5 spot with 8.2 million. Now, before I really get into the meat and bones of like everything that I'm going to talk about in this podcast that's related to the box office, one of the things that stood out to me was Harriet. Amongst a lot of other things, but Harriet, that was a movie that I can say that I really didn't have too many high expectations for. I didn't think that it was going to be as good as it was. I saw it yesterday, and I didn't really think that it was going to really, I just really didn't think it was going to be that good. I thought it was going to be okay. I didn't think that it was going to be as good as it was, and it literally surpassed my expectations. And even before I saw it, I saw that they had made it into the top 5, and I was like shocked because I thought it was going to be a movie that was going to be that wasn't going to be in the top 5. At the highest, it was going to be maybe number 6. And it was going to probably be at a number 10 or number 14 or something like that because a lot of people seem to, show support for movies like this, but not a lot of people actually see movies like this to put it within the top 5. So I was surprised by that. And actually seeing the movie, I'm like, yo, this movie was well worth it. This movie was really, really good. Let me fix this because this keep making a lot of noise. But yeah, it kind of like, I was surprised by it, but like I said, when I saw the movie, I'm like, yo, this movie deserved more money than what it made. It deserved to be in a higher spot than what it was. But I was surprised, but I'm glad that it did make it into the top 5. And I'm glad people were making it out to the movie theater to go see this movie. And hope that it keeps legs and people, word of mouth get out about this movie. And people actually make it out to the theater to go see it because it was actually a really good film. Now, to get into the other things that stood out with this weekend box office was Terminator Dark Fate. Now, Terminator Dark Fate, I just saw it. The movie, to me, I loved it. I truly loved this movie. I thought it was like really good. And I'm not alone with this because there is a critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes of 71% and there's an audience rating of 84%. So genuinely it has mostly positive reviews for it or positive reception. And I see why, because this movie was just like Harriet. it was better than what I expected. Even though I did have some expectations for this movie. It did look really good, but it was far better than what I possibly had in my mind. And I'm just bummed that a lot of people didn't really go out and see this movie because it really should have made more money than what it was. And that's getting into the thing of just it poses the question, which I guess you could say we gotten our answer by the box office, is that people getting tired of the Terminator franchise, which by the money it made, it showed that people are getting tired of it. And history will show every now and then that people will get tired of a franchise or a series or whatever once it start making money. And I guess you could say one of the most recent ones was the Terminator franchise. And I'm not including Bumblebee up in there. I'm not including Bumblebee, but I'm talking about the Transformers movies. Once you got to, they make a lot of money. And no matter how the critics felt about it, the fans were just constantly giving them money, making billions of dollars. But then once you got to The Last Night, it didn't make as much money as the other ones, and it actually was one of the ones that people looked upon and like, yo, we're getting tired of this. This movie isn't making as much, or this franchise is starting to, go down with the money that it's making. And it's showing that, like, they need to go a different direction. They need to, I don't know, maybe change directors, maybe change the writers, maybe, just do something different. And Bumblebee changed that direction. Now, hopefully they can keep going on with that. But that was just one recent example of that people can get tired of a franchise. And it just shows that people are getting tired of Terminator. Because this movie, as good as it is, it should not have, made as little money as it did. I think a lot of people were skipping on it. Maybe people are waiting like a week or so. But I feel like this is just crazy because on a budget of between 185 million to 196 million, this movie, like I said, over the weekend at 29 million. Right now is sitting at 31 million domestically. Worldwide 125.6 million. That's crazy. That is crazy. Like, it probably won't even make its budget, let alone marketing and then be profitable, break even. It just, I don't know, like, people are really getting tired of Transformers. God, getting real tired of Terminator. And it's kind of sad. And I do agree with a lot of reviewers that this movie maybe should have been in place of Genesis. Because, I mean, even the other ones were kind of shaky with kind of this divisive between fans and critics and all that stuff. And the money shows it because, you got T1, the very first Terminator, 6.4 million domestically made, 38.3 million and 78.4 million worldwide. Very successful. T2, which they say is the best out of the bunch, one of the few movies that have the sequel highly surpassed the original. On a budget of 100 million, made 204.8 million domestically and worldwide 516.9 million. And that's very profitable. That is highly profitable. I mean, it's not crazy numbers, but it basically made this budget, marketing, and it was in a profitable zone. So, I mean, it did its thing. But then once you get to Rise of the Machines on $185.3 million budget, domestically brought in $150.3 million, worldwide $433.3 million, which is really good or whatever. But that's when it started to go down because of I have a $200 million budget. Salvation domestically did 125 million with worldwide being 371.3 million. And it went down, but then it kind of went back up over, Rise of the Machines with Genesis with 155 million, a little bit lower budget than Salvation. Though domestically 89.7 million, and worldwide 140.6 million. And it just kind of go up and down. It just shows that people are still coming out to these movies, but I don't know. It shows kind of like that they're not really trying. They kind of giving up on this. They really have given up on this. And the numbers for this movie, for Dark Fate, shows that they really have given up on it. And it's just, I don't know, it's just sad to see that, like, maybe it's just a little bit too late for them to actually produce a really good film, because the past sins are now kind of like catching up to the franchise. And it's crazy because this movie is replacing Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and Genesis as being the official third film. So this movie is literally taking place after T2, and it's supposed to just wipe away the other films. And I like to look at it as like that's just a different timeline than the one in Dark Fate. So I'm not saying that they scrubbed away, but that's just a different timeline. So I just look at it like that, because you're dealing with time, so you can play around with it, this and that, have different timelines and all that stuff. So that's the way I kind of look at it. And it's crazy how just terribly this movie has done. And the movie is really good. So it is, at this point, it is a box office bomb. It really is. This movie should have made more money. And just like looking at the whole picture, Paramount, one of the companies that basically put the money into it, is just kind of like doing bad this year. I mean, they're not, I ain't saying like they're doing terribly bad, like they just like bomb after bomb after bomb, but they literally just came off of a bomb with Gemini Man, which I thought was pretty decent. And just like Dark Fate, the story kind of lacked. And that was kind of like one of the weakest points of both films. But at the same time, it was kind of like a bold attempt with Gemini Man. But it literally did bad as well. You got like a budget of 138 million, which it shows with like the boldness of like the technology that they were trying to utilize. But domestically pulled in, as of now, 47 million, and worldwide 162.1 million. It's like it's going to lose money for the studio. It's going to lose money. Actually, it has been like basically calculated as of now to lose 75 million for Paramount, and that just kind of sucks, because I don't know, like. It's like you have like a good gimmick on it, but I guess just the marketing didn't show it for people, make people want to get out and go see this. And it's already been proven that names don't put butts in seats, so it's a lot of variables that you can put out there to why the failure of Gemini Man happened. But it's just crazy that Paramount just literally put out a movie that bombed, and now you put out another movie that bombed. And both of them wasn't terribly bad movies. Dark Fate, I actually love that movie. I'm going to go see it again. That's how much I like that movie. Gemini Man, I saw it twice. Saw it one time, and then I took my dad to go see it because it seemed like a type of movie that he would love. And he actually really did love the movie. So I don't know. It's just crazy. Can Paramount bounce back from this? Because they did pretty decent with the other films, from Rocket Man, The Crawl, Wonder Park, Pet Sematary Remake, What Men Want, the Dora movie. And then now they got 3 more movies coming out this year, with Playing with Fire with John Cena, The Rhythm Section with Blake Lively, and Like a Boss with Rose Byrne and Tiffany Haddish. And out of those 3 movies, I don't think that they're going to do gangbuster numbers. I really don't. I don't see them pulling in 400 plus million and all that stuff. I don't even think that they're going to crack 200 million at the end of their run, because Playing with Fire, I seen it last week. It's a decent film. It may, if any one of them, it may end up getting to like maybe 200, but I don't think so. I don't think to me, I don't think it was that good. to where it's gonna make that crazy amount of money. The rhythm section, that movie, I don't think that they intend for that movie to make a crazy amount unless it's really, really good. But the advertisements, I don't think it has the the marketing. I don't think it really has promoted itself to a lot of people to go see this. Like, it doesn't, I don't think they put too much marketing behind it to get people to really go see this movie. So I don't think that it's going to make 200 million. I don't know if it, I think it's going to barely make 100 million. And then Like a Boss maybe have a good chance of making maybe 200 million because you got Tiffany Haddish up in there, Rose Byrne, and it like the trailer actually look like it's going to get some butts and seats. But other than that, I don't think they're going to make gangbusters, So I mean, we'll see. We'll see by the end of this year because they got some more movies coming out next year. So hopefully by then, maybe they can have some gangbuster movies that can put them right back in like a comfortable spot. But as of now, things is looking pretty rocky for Paramount. But I hope they get back on their stuff and start producing like really good movies because I don't ever want a movie to fail. It's certain movies that I don't care to go see, but I don't want a movie to fail because if I go see it, I want to have a good experience at the movie. I don't want to be in a movie theater like, oh, damn, when is this movie over? Oh, this is garbage. I don't want to be up in the movie theater like that. Even though I have AMC A-list, I might not be wasting my money, but I'm wasting my time sitting here watching a garbage ass movie. So that's really one of the things that, it just kind of bummed out about. I ain't gonna say bummed out, but, kind of disappointed that the movie did as bad as it did because it was really good. I found a lot of enjoyment out of it. Terminator Dark Fate is a movie that I think a lot of people should really go see. But along with that, let's go ahead and jump into not another movie that, bombed, but a movie that unexpectedly did well and is continually to do well. So another thing that jumped out about me with the box office is Joker. Joker is constantly surprising people. I'm pretty sure that Warner Brothers, Joaquin Phoenix, everybody that had anything to do with this movie did not expect it to do what it did. Because on a budget of, I say around 60 million, domestically it's doing $300.3 million. And right now worldwide is 938 million. It's on its way to doing $1 billion. A movie that, if you would have asked me, even after seeing it, I would have never thought that it was going to be close to even touching $1 million, even having a whiff of it, breathing on the back of the neck of $1 billion. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's like it's just creeping up there. It's having its legs. People are really enjoying Joker. Now, and it's a really good movie. I really liked it. I really think, like, if anybody asks me, I recommend it to them. It is a really good movie. Joaquin Phoenix acts his ass off. And just some of the stuff that they touch up in that movie, it kind of like separates itself from like all the other comic book movies that you would, be used to, like an Endgame or, Avengers type movies and stuff like that, Aquaman and everything else. It's actually a realistic type of like movie, and just the stuff that it touches on, If you're one of those people that like a lot of depth in the characters and the story and like just symbolic meaning, and just movies that tackle real life scenarios or just ideas and situations, this was a movie that was like that, and it was based off a comic book character, and based off of one of the storylines with this character, and I think a lot of people appreciated that, because actually I had my doubts. I mean, I know that it did good, and TIFF, I believe that's where they showed it in the film festival where it won the award. And usually people that want like films that win that usually get nominated, and a lot of them win an Oscar, so it was like it had a lot of buzz going into it. A lot of people came out loving the film, and so I'm just thinking like, man, with people like that, a lot of times movies like that don't really cross over and the general audience love these films. It's a lot of times it's like Critics might love it, but the audience might love, this and that. But hell, audience and critics love it both alike. And it's just so crazy. But even then, I don't think anybody thought that it was going to make the money that it made, because it's crazy. It is truly crazy about how much money it is generating. Man, and not only that, but it's outbeating like other R-rated films for being the highest grosser. Right now, it's at number one with 938 million. Deadpool 2 is right after it at number 2 with 785 million. Oh my gosh. And Deadpool right under that at number 3 with 782.6 million. I don't know why I keep saying 78. Matrix Reloaded at number 4 with 742.1 million, and It Chapter 1 with 700 million. So it outbeat all of those movies to take that number 1 spot. That's the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Just add that, of all time. And after seeing it, like I said, I don't want movies like this to fail. It was a great theater experience. It actually surprised the hell out of me of how good it was and how entertained by it I was. So I'm rooting for it to reach 1 billion. I am rooting for it to reach 1 billion. I'm surprised that it even got this far, and I'm rooting for it to go further. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Even if you don't like comic book movies like that, it's not like your average comic book movie. So I say go check it out if you haven't. And if you have, then you know exactly, how I feel. You probably surprised too. Well, maybe you wasn't. Maybe you one of those few people that knew that it was going to crush it. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But so with that, let's go ahead and jump right into the movies that are coming out this weekend. So we have 4 wide release films that are coming out. 2 of them which I actually saw that I can recommend. Playing with Fire with John Cena is actually pretty decent. If you're looking for a film to take your kids to, you can go ahead and do that. It was actually pretty good. The audience that I saw it with, they actually liked it. My son liked the movie. I thought it was okay. Nothing too big. Midway is a movie that I'm interested in seeing with Luke Evans, Ed Shirk. I can't even pronounce his name. Shikrin or whatever. Patrick Wilson, Woody Harrelson, all playing up in there. It's a period movie that's take place in World War II. Dr. Sleep with Ewan McGregor up in there. And Rebecca Ferguson is the sequel to The Shining, which that was a movie that I saw last week. It was an early screening with Fandango, and it was pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I highly recommend anybody go see it. Especially if you're a big fan of The Shining, definitely go see it. Definitely go see it. And the other movie that's coming out is Last Christmas with Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding. It was a movie that I'm really interested in seeing. It does look like it's going to be good. Romantic comedy. And those are the 4 movies that I'm that are coming out. And I say Last Christmas and Midway. I really am interested in seeing both of those films. Last Christmas, because you have sexy Emilia Clarke up in there, and I could just stare at her all day. But yeah, those are the movies that's coming out this weekend. And my predictions for this weekend, I feel like Dr. Sleep is going to take the number 1 spot. Playing with Fire is going to come in at number 2. Close number 2, maybe. Midway at number 3. I think Terminator Dark Fate is going to drop down to number 4, and Last Christmas is going to come in at number 5. I haven't seen too much marketing for Midway and Last Christmas, but I don't watch too much TV. But at the same time, still, I haven't seen a crazy amount of marketing for both of those films. So I don't think those films are going to take the number 2 spot. I'd say number 3 at the most. But I think Last Christmas may end up doing better, but I'm going to keep that at the number 5 spot. Well, the number 5 spot or whatnot. And so to end off this podcast, let me go ahead and tell y'all about go ahead and name off the movies that are new to rent on the stream as of yesterday, or, as of the time I'm recording it, this past Tuesday. Hobbs and Shaw is new to rent on the stream. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is one of my favorite movies now. I love that movie, and one of the must watch Halloween films that I'm gonna have to watch every single Halloween. The Art of Racing in the Rain is out for your enjoyment, as well as The Kitchen with Melissa McCarthy and Tiffany Haddish. And those are just the 4 movies that are coming out to rent on the stream. And with that said, that ends off this podcast. Thank you guys for Box Office Talk. And just like the Take One podcast, this will be airing every single week, so look out for that. I'm going to try and have a set schedule for both the Take One podcast and Box Office Talk. That way, every week you will be able to expect it on this day and that day. I'm thinking Mondays and Tuesdays, but we will see. We will see. I will let you guys know. And with that said, again, thank you guys for listening, and I will catch you guys next week on the next Box Office Talk. Thank you for joining me. Peace out. Hey, before you guys leave, make sure you hit that like button as well as that subscribe button. And you see that little bell, make sure you hit that to turn on your notifications. That way you'll be notified for anything that appears on my channel. Hope to see you guys next time. Peace out.